Hey guys, it's Mono Aching Time, and today we're here at Bolton Motor Show, the first show of the year. But I'm so excited for this video. We're going to go through every single stand that's at the show in terms of actual model clubs and SIGs, and we'll have a look at some of the vendors at the end of the show because, as usual, I want the focus of the video to be on the actual model clubs themselves. So vendors at the end if you want to see what was there, but we're going to go through all of the SIGs, all of the clubs, everything that we can go through. So I hope you're excited for this because I definitely am. And I guess we'll talk about some of the other things about the show at the end too. Starting off strong with the hosts of the show. That's right, it's Bolton. Bolton's displays are always really good, and there were some very dramatic displays on here. There's a diorama right at the end that you can see lit up that we will have a look up in closer details shortly. A couple of things on here that really caught the eye, and I mean that diorama is so creative. The lighting in it, the use of cotton wool, it's just spectacular. A really stunning display. I think this is a walrus if I'm not mistaken. Mr. Modeler chose this as his first model of the show that he liked, and this snake Stuka is glorious. Followed up by a couple of Italians, the Fiat CL42 and the Fiat G50. And this is either a scimitar or a scorpion. As usual, Armour is not my strong point. And a Sea King in the beautiful yellow. Following on from that, we've got the training Aircraft SIG, a SIG that I always love because it has some crossover with the aerobatic display SIG. There's a lot of Hawks on here, the Hawk being a really famous aircraft in the United Kingdom as the mount of the Red Arrows. So we'll see a couple of them up close and personal. This is one of Indonesia. I don't know if this is of the Jupiter display team or not. And we've got one from Finland here afterwards, which, if you want, could be from the Midnight Hawks long before they had their unique livery. A Gazelle here, sorry, slightly out of focus, the lighting wasn't the best here. And then we move on to 580 modelers. 580 modelers always have a few really interesting subjects, and there was a fantasy fictional subject in the middle here that I thought was stunning. There's AMX of Brazil as well as also something that I thought was beautiful, but yeah, this Nachtjager, this night fighter of the sort of World War I era is just absolutely stunning and really deserves the centerpiece of 580 modelers display. As usual, I've got myself to pick something and my partner, so this is what Mr. Modeler picked out, and I think it's a good choice. I of course picked out the AMX because I'm excited to get this, and I did pick up a 1/72 artillery one at the show, and here's the Nachtjager, the night fighter. For a real change of pace, we're heading over to the New Zealand SIG. New Zealand SIG is one that I always think is just really unusual and has a lot of subjects that you don't really see on other display stands. Here's an F4U Corsair, one we do see but not always in these markings, and then this glider Tug I think is awesome. It's just really cute, and a BAE 146 in New Zealand airline colours. We're heading over to York and District. You might remember this from Scout Model World, and well, there's a couple of really cool setups on this display. In particular, that Vigan at the back, which you can see, which I think looks absolutely stunning. I love this. I mean, Vigans always look good in Splinter Scheme, but I just love the setup here. And this is the first Italian jet that ever flew, the Caproni Campini M1. Heading over to Wrexham, and I had quite a long chat with them about the Mosquito that they've got displayed at the back that we'll have a look at in more detail. But they do a lot of these on sort of the display frames, and I think it's a really unique way of displaying them. This is actually going to be given to the granddaughter of one of those involved in Operation Jericho, which I think is fabulous. Really unique way of showing history, and I think it's why modelling is so cool, because you can preserve the past and really help bring it into the future. And I think it's why I'm so passionate about modelling as a hobby, because that's just what it allows us to do. So honestly can't wait to see more of your work this year. Langley Moor is the next one we're looking at here, and love the purple in the background as well, just gonna say. And this is going to be the first display where we see quite a bit of Warhammer. Warhammer is slowly creeping into the modelling space, which I think is great. It brings over this audience that we never really had before. there's so many of us that do tabletop on the side, but we never really show it at shows. And I think a lot of the kit bashing and conversion stuff that happens in tabletop gaming also happens in model making. So I think it's always really cool to see it at shows. And Langley had so many cool things. I love these Airfix sets. These are like the old coastal command sets and like the forts, and I just think they've done such a fabulous job with these. I absolutely love them. Please do more of those for next show. I love them. There's Pink Typhoon here as well, which just looks stunning. She slays. Love that so much. And then these Grey Knight Terminators. Again, I've not played Warhammer for a long time, but I think these look stunning. Heading over to Shropshire Scale Modelers, or IPMS Telford, and a really lovely display. Of course, the Nimrod in the centre that I absolutely love, and some more of the Imperium from Warhammer. Here's a Nimrod up close, and then we've got this, I think they're called Outlaw Riders or something now, but the Space Marine Biker, and then this Yakolev 141 Freestyle, the supersonic VTOL aircraft that they had. Heading over to Cleveland now, and again, a really varied display. I don't know what it is, but I think over the last sort of, I don't know, 3 years or so, particularly since I started going to a lot more shows, there's been so much more variety around in the stands. A lot more dioramas, and definitely a change away from just doing standard military stuff. As you can see from sort of the farming thing there as well. I'm not going to know the names of everything. And then we've got some gunpla and sci-fi at the end as well, which again, I think is so important to the modelling space. I love it so much. But yes, a really beautiful display here. This boomerang I thought was cute. I love the boomerang. I'm so glad I got to see one fly in real life. And there's some examples of gunpla. I know one is Digimon on the end, again, adored. And I think this is just unusual, right? I'm assuming these are Hasegawa kits. I think I've shown this example before of the ploughing, but I think it's just phenomenal. This like little snapshot of life that was just, yeah, adorable. Heading over to Keighley, little Greek buckeye at the bottom of there, and then that bright pink, I'm assuming that's the Berg uniform for the old Napoleonic era horsemen at the back there. Really interesting diorama here. T-34, some people are having a cigarette out front. And then I'm just calling this like Buff Daddy Santa. I'm assuming that's what it is. I have no idea where that's from. The camels in this I just thought were adorable, so I had to get a picture of this diorama. And here's like the guy I'm assuming is from like Berg. I had to look it up because I wasn't sure who the pink was. And I love the Spitfire decal. On top of this, F-16, suitable for the year of the anniversary, the 50th anniversary of the F-16. So yeah, really lovely display there. Nottinghamshire was very tank and sci-fi heavy. Titan in the middle there. A couple of really massive tanks, and I love the Star Wars ones at the front as well. Star Wars has been something that's gone in and out of trend in model making, and I'm glad it's sort of making a bit of a comeback, especially with the new tabletop games that have come out. Really like these jet bike riders. I think they look awesome. And then Sharp here as well, giving you all that devastating look. And then this returning patrol I think is just a really nice simple diorama too. Tornado SIG here, if you haven't figured, it is just Panavia Tornadoes, but there is a guest on there which makes me really happy because it's Italian, and I always say you never see enough Italian tornadoes, so I'm really glad to see one on here, especially one that's a bit more unique because it comes with the Evolo Rossi, which I've made one of these in 1/72nd scale, so a really beautiful duo there. And then these two flying over RAF Moorham, Stoke-on-Trent, friends of the channel, because I used to know them really well. Stoke-on-Trent Club has always been one of the most diverse, and I think is one of the leaders, I think, in like doing like really interesting and out there dioramas. I love these like little tray ones, just like it sets your parameters so fiercely. And this diorama I just thought was so lifelike, like out of the TV show. And same for this sort of more jungle diorama too. These are fabulous, honestly. This underwater one too is absolutely amazing. The work they've done is absolutely phenomenal, and working with resin is really, really difficult, so I have so much respect. Rubicon Modelling over here then, always affiliated with the Stoke-on-Trent guys, because there's a bit of crossover there. Toblerone tank is still there from Guy, and I absolutely love that thing. I think I've got a picture put in this, and a Huey right at the back there. Yep, there we go. The Toblerone tank. I think I haven't shown it this year because it's the first show of the year, so I'm going to show it. And this Crusader that looks absolutely stunning. And that's a stark contrast to something like this Vietnamese display called Saigon Falls. Really stark contrast there. Morecombe Bay then. Again, look at another Titan in there. I think a Dreadnought too, so a lot of Warhammer on display here. But this Dalek from the first revival series of Doctor Who looks amazing. And this 25-pounder field and gun quad from Airfix, which I've always loved because I had one as a kid that my dad had, one of the pre-molded ones, so I've always loved that kit. F1 and Motorsport SIG up next. Y'all know that I am not someone who knows my cars very well, so you'll have to forgive me when I sort of go, it's this car because of the livery that's on it. It's just how I am, and I'm really sorry, but I do again try and get as much as I can. But there were people stood right at the end of that, and I didn't want to sort of intrude, and like I don't never try and push people out of the way, so I only got a couple on here, but I really love the display overall. It's really colourful and pretty. Hot Rods and Customs, again, the same sort of thing. I know nothing about these, but I love seeing them because it's just something I don't know, and I think that's such a wonderful aspect of this hobby, is just the differences that we can all have and enjoy and share together as one community. Love the sort of junkyard aesthetic here. The rust has been done beautifully, and this Crow sort of future looking vehicle from presumably like the 50s looks awesome. Northwest Car and Motorcycle Club here then. Again, really love, sorry, I was laughing because of the KFC one, which we'll see in a second, but a lovely display here. These anime style or covered vehicles, and then KFC. What a contrast. I love it. It's so camp and out there. I love it. I think this is Army Aviation. I couldn't see a sign, but I think it is, because I think I've seen a couple of these before, but I love the Lynx at the back doing the flip, because that's what the Lynx was famous for at air shows, and I always loved it for that reason. I love the Lynx, such an adorable aircraft, and look, Fly Army on the bottom. And completely different, the Hotspur glider, really well done, and I love the train on there. And then this Middle Wallop Rally Tee from 1974, really interesting subject. Models for Heroes here. This is an organisation I'm sure all of you know really well at this point, and I've spoken to them quite a few times when I've been to shows. Models for Heroes do amazing work supporting veterans and using model making to help cope with things like mental health issues or disabilities. It really helps people have something to focus on and be creative and express themselves. A really amazing organisation, and I urge you to check them out and support them if you can. They do have stuff you can buy on their website too, which is always worth looking at. Sorry to speak over slightly then, but yes, we're now over to the modern British Armour, and this is another stand that I know not a lot about, but I love hearing people talking about it, and again, sort of why you've got the bit of the awkward filming angle, because I don't want to intrude or go over people who are interacting and speaking to the SIG. I think this is Challenger 2, right? I think my knowledge is not super great. And then we've got the Russian Armour, I guess, SIG again, right next door to them. They're often quite close to each other at shows. I'm assuming there's probably some crossover. Again, I don't know loads about these, but I did get my partner to help a little bit, so I think this is like a Scud launcher. I only really know these sort of things from Command & Conquer Generals, and this is a Stuart from the Lend-Lease programme. But we then got the Leopard main battle tank SIG. Once I actually said it right, because for some reason I kept reading it as I said it as Leopard, but yeah, the Leopard main battle tank SIG. There's a couple of really unique displays on here, including this sort of the submerged, I guess, way of travelling, which I thought was amazing. The netting on this with the leaves is what really caught my attention there. And the AA Leopard, which I know now for War Thunder, so yeah. This is the tank room, and these dioramas are amazing. One of my friends, Sully, who is also, you should go check out their channel, this reminds me of a lot of like their work, and I know Sully is aware of like this Creator 2 and thinks that they're absolutely amazing. And Sully is someone I know how hard it is to get this sort of thing, so I can only imagine how hard it is to do these models, and seeing them in person, it just gives you another sense of how amazing model makers can be, and I have so much respect for these. These Canberras were next to them. I didn't see a sign saying they were SIG, so I've put them down as Canberras. So if that isn't, or if it isn't a SIG, sorry, let me know in the comments below. I love this like day glow one. I'm assuming this is sort of a target tug one, I think. And then I just love the crispness of the scheme on this one, and the pin wash on it looks amazing. Project cancelled is a lot of things that never really came to be, and one of the things on here my partner didn't even really know was a thing, which is the Hawker P139B. This beautiful thing, I absolutely adore its derpiness. And next to that was the Gannet in AEW. Both of these things are related. I suggest you go and do a lot more reading on them because it's fascinating. I think this is a Bristol Belvedere as if it was in Royal Naval Service, and this is the EAP, the Eurofighter Typhoon's originator, but with a twin-tail configuration, which is one of the ones they looked at. What If are similar to Project Cancelled, but instead of just looking at things that were potentially going to exist, this is just looking at anything that could have been, would have been, or I guess you just wish could have been something at some point. So we have these trainers at the top, which are Royal Naval trainers. The Turtle Mark 1 tank here, which I love how it looks. And like I'm saying, Royal Naval trainers instead of the RAF ones. I think that's a really unique way to do it. And then the Airspeed Oxford here, I want to say it's AS31. Amazing looking aircraft. Chester here next to them. Really like the tablecloth on here, by the way. I think it's a really just unique pattern to have as a background for your display. I actually really like it. Love the snow on this. It looks phenomenal. I can't imagine how long that took to get looking just right. And this Panzer III with its short stout cannon right at the front, and this F4 in RAF colours. Beautiful. Heading over to the Tomcat SIG, yep, you'll notice that is not a Tomcat on the far right, and I think this is a SIG that has been undergoing a lot of change. Originally was very, very Tomcat heavy, and has now started to see a couple of other things slip in, which I'm not opposed to. I think it's a really interesting way to do the SIG, because it is something that's quite hard to do sometimes, to keep the interest whilst doing just sort of a single subject over and over. A lot of Top Gun focus on that SIG though, and I think it's always an amazing display. Film Fangs is anything from TV and film, of course, as the name possibly suggests, such as Doctor Who in the background, Titanic, Spider-Man, Superman, and Doctor Who. Here's Doctor Who, as I've already sort of said, the Dalek being opened up, and Jurassic Park here, which the wires being broken, I think is really well done. Speaking of sort of TV and film, here's some Star Wars that was just going past some Star Wars, sorry. Obviously got Obi-Wan, a Stormtrooper, Kylo Ren, and an operative at the back. I thought this was so cool. I remember seeing these at Milton Keynes. I think they were at last year's Bolton, but I can't really remember. British Bulldogs, they were having a lovely chat with some friends there, so I didn't get to see too much of the stand. This is the main thing I wanted to take a picture of though, because I just thought it was absolutely amazing. I loved the look of that sort of human dog look. I thought it was just really, really interesting. But yeah, again, I always try and not get in the way of people who are trying to look at stuff on stands, so that's why you've only seen a couple of little bits there. There's bash models that were next door to them. A lot of really interesting sort of statues. I can't remember the exact word, but sort of some figurine paintings on here. Little tank on the far left as well, and very colourful and vibrant display on here. Really love this F-19. I think it's the F-19. I had one of these in Micro Machines when I was a little kid. And the Nurgly Hillbillies, which I thought was a really clever take. But following on from that, we've got Warrington with some really interesting aircraft. We've got the Fokkels at the front, a Stuka front and centre, and even something from an anime I've very recently watched and fallen in love with, Evangelion, with the Lance of Longius at the front. I didn't recognise it was from Evangelion originally, but then my heart said it is. It's just in a bit different paint scheme. A Barracuda here for something different. I love the Barracuda. IL-28, I want to say, in Iraqi colours. And then, as I said, Evangelion with the Lance of Longius. Amazing anime. I've only ever just watched it, and I think it's spectacular. Airfix Modelling over here then, and anything and everything Airfix. Absolutely love this SIG. Always has really amazing work to show, and this year was no different. I mean, I wouldn't expect it to, because it's only just the start of the year. British Caledonian here on takeoff, which looks spectacular, and this Tiger Moth has unfortunately flipped over. unlike the cows who sat laughing next to it. A Crusader with a P40 in the desert, looking amazing. And this F-35 done in RAF camo colours, which I think looks amazing. Harrogate here, another 37 Vigan there, beautiful. And we've got the Motorhead HE-111 from Airfix there too. A couple of really interesting ships too. But the thing that caught my eye the most is this KP SIAI S211, because I've done one of those too, and this DB8, because I've considered buying this kit a couple of times and it looks amazing. This is my Mr. Modeller's sort of pick for the table as well. Now, I couldn't see another name on this one, and again, it's sort of like sometimes I don't have the confidence to interrupt people or ask them, so I could see the name sprinkled around here a few times of Rhys Pendlebury. I couldn't quite see which club it may have belonged to online, so that's what I've gone with on this. So please correct me in the comments if needs be, and I can correct it in the timestamps. But I love the smoke coming out of that train, it looks amazing. Leicester Scotland Model Society over here with the pink and purple. Again, another Vigan. The Vigan is always such a popular choice in model making. I can understand it though, because it's a beautiful, beautiful aircraft. I love the MiG-21 that's being sort of raised out, and I've just noticed how tiny it is. I didn't notice those in person. What the hell? How did I miss that? I love that. The Thunderbirds in the TV at the very corner is also something that I thought was spectacular. I love that they've used a lot of photo references, I'm assuming from their own life. Love the F4E there of Turkey. And then we've got the Alien, the Xenomorph from Alien. Here's that MiG-21 I was referencing earlier that's being lifted from the ground. And these sort of sardine can model kits, and these are amazing. They're so creative. I wish I had the talent to do something like that. As I said, Thunderbirds in the TV. Absolutely a bonkers, amazing idea. Edinburgh up next on the yellow. Another beautiful display, very Armour heavy, not my forte. Not so I don't know a lot of the names of these things. Again, I've chosen another skirt because it just reminds me of Command and Conquer Generals. That's really the only reason I chose that. And I think this howitzer is just a fantastic diorama, very, very lifelike. Moving over to South Cheshire, look at the links there. Just beautiful. The Tornado with the radome sort of pulled over to the side. The pod racer, yes, I love episode 1 purely for the pod racing, and then a couple of sort of Spanish and French subjects there as well, which I love. Yeah, this stand was perfect for me. Again, as much as everyone hates episode 1, love pod racing, and I think that was fantastically done with that diorama there. Tornado just looks fierce as hell there. And then we've got this Stug, really muddy, really worn, and then an MB200, I think, block MB200, interwall aircraft. The Sorceress Apprentice here from Fantasia, which gave me nightmares as a child. And then the Mikoa. That was Mr. Modeller's choice there. Moving over to Manchester. A local show for them, to be sure, seeing as Bolton is sort of the greater Manchester area. Some more Top Gun references there. This Ukrainian F-15 was a really interesting take. T2 Buckeye. So Back to the Future. Now you've seen this at the start of the video. You can see there's no smoke right now because the smoke gets turned on and off whenever it's needed. It was running out of battery apparently when I got there. This was sort of about, I think, 11 o'clock midday-ish. So yeah, but how cool is that? Absolutely phenomenal. I love that they just had an idea and they went, you know what, I'm just going to go balls to the walls and just do everything I can with it. Absolutely amazing. This Aaron Neville F4, fantastic. And the Sherman just looks really weathered and worn. And the F-15 in Ukrainian colours, as we mentioned earlier, just beautiful. Over to Merseyside, a club we've seen many, many times in these videos. That BAC TSR2 in the middle just absolutely steals the stand. For some reason, that's not one I took a picture of though, so unfortunately you've only got it in me passing it in the video. That's really dumb of me. I should have taken a picture of that, so I apologise. We've got this Pacora in Uruguay colours. Really love the Pacora. Beautiful aircraft. And the Evening Star here. Beautiful train. Not many trains out the show actually this year. That was one of the very few we saw. And this Panzer that's been sort of ripped apart so you can see the insides. I think it's fantastic. The Wirral's next to them, both geographically and in tables. PZL at the front that we saw there, and the dogfight duo over to the side. A couple of interesting dioramas and unusual kits on this display, with the maroon and red as the backdrop for all of their models. Javelin over there that you saw, and the ripped apart again, the on sprue colours on the side. We've got this Westland Whirlwind, and this diorama as well. Again, they've just taken out some Germans. And then I just love how he's just standing there. It's just so realistic. We're now heading over to Wolverhampton, which also includes elements of the Spanish Civil War SIG. A SIG that we've seen many times on this channel, and one that I always adore. A couple of other interesting subjects on here, including a kit bash that I somehow walked straight past this C-130 seaplane, which I think is absolutely beautiful and ridiculous. This is my favourite Japanese aircraft, the J2 Raiden, the Deltine D510 in Chinese National Air Force colours, which I think is stunning. And we've got this Colonel Ivan Kononov. This is just what Miss Modeler thought was one of the most impressive things on the table. And Spanish Civil War SIG, as promised, are here. Some more Warhammer here, and this has a light up base, so if you can see it there, but absolutely beautiful. Another kit bash, a sort of hybrid double tank. Heading over to Stafford, always a very friendly bunch here. If you ever sort of go to a model show and you see Stafford, go and talk to these guys. They will welcome you with open arms. They are very friendly, very jokey, absolutely lovely bunch of characters. ME262 in the forest there. I've got a sort of a print of a painting of ME262s abandoned in Austria at the end of the war. That's what that reminds me of. Absolutely beautiful. Really well done diorama. HE111, my favourite sort of medium bomber of World War II. I just think it's the most graceful looking one. But yeah, these ME262s, a lot of these were abandoned in the war, and that's what this reminds me of. The aforementioned Heinkel HE111, and this London tram. This is all scratch built, absolutely stunning. Truck SIG, not a lot of trucks at this show actually, surprisingly. Some free jelly babies at the front to entice you to their stand, but you don't really need them because these are really cool. I really love these. Again, just sort of miniature parts of life, and I love that this one you can see inside the cabin, and it just really sparks your imagination. Now heading over to Staffordshire Moorlands. This table was massive, to the point where I thought I'd filmed the whole thing and then went, oh wait, no, I haven't filmed it. It's got another half. So I had to go back and film the remaining half of the table. I felt like a right silly Billy, but never mind, it is what it is. But yeah, quite a large display over here. I only realised I saw the sign the other side and I was like, oh. So PE2 here. One of the, I think, most beautiful Russian aircraft of World War II. And for my friend Fenris Models, hey, here's some dinosaurs for you. Love the water in this diorama. It really looks like it's moving and fighting against them. And HS-129, the Heinkel 129, the tank buster. Tomcat is here as well, painted beautifully and brought to life. And this harbour scene is, again, just another snapshot of life that looks beautiful. Sutton Spartans have their trio at the front there on that grass base, which I think looks great. It just looks quite realistic, having sort of a lot of mud there as well, which would be on a sort of an active base. Here we see the Hurricane on that base. I don't know what it is, I just love the base, alright? I think this is a Warrior. I did Google it, I think it is a Warrior in UN colours. And then A6 Zero. I'm not going to go as far as the sort of the certain type, but I'm pretty sure it is the Zero. United States Air Force SIG. When we see a lot of shows, to the point where I went, I want to see USAF next. And I went, how do you know that? I was like, I know their bases, I've seen them at a lot of shows and I love them. B-47 here, really fresh, looks like it's just come off the display. And then F-22 here. We've got an F-117 here, stealth fighter as it was called. And then Bomber Command next door. A lot of heavies on here, obviously, because it's Bomber Command. And the new F-35 Airfixes with the shadow stand below. Seems to be a very popular kit. A Sterling with the yellow bottom, also quite unusual. And this Vickers Valiant. I love Valiant. Not so great in real life, but a lovely aircraft. And a Manchester! Way! Love the Manchester. Rest riding then, this is sort of Leeds area. Massive B25 in the middle. Absolutely humongous. We've then got the GBs in all the different sizes. I still love these like crayon stands. I think they're really amusing. Yeah, the centre's really taken up by that, but I just capture a few things on the side. So we've got the Batmobile from the sort of films a few years ago, and this P40 in Chinese Nationalist Service. We've also got the Cessna Bobcat, in UC78, and this is sort of a small, like almost bookend sort of diorama. Love that so much. Now heading over to Wirral. Wirral is one that I normally only see at a couple of shows a year, and I mean that's the same for a lot of the Welsh model clubs. It must be quite difficult to travel to a lot of them. There was actually another show prior to this in Wales that I didn't get to go to, unfortunately, because again it's just very far for me to travel to, but one day I do hope to go to a Welsh model show and hopefully I can make that happen. But again, really lovely stand. Hopefully one day I'll see the Welsh stands at a Welsh show. Black sheep model is here, Wallace and Gromit right in the centre. Absolutely, that is the thing that I love the most on this stand, because how can you not love Wallace and Gromit, right? Oh, beautiful. A lot of interesting Japanese aircraft on here. Don't always see a lot of Japanese aircraft outside of sort of the big sort of 5 or so aircraft that you see all the time. Wallace about to jump into the sort of dumpster. Very scary. Very amusing. B-17, early version of the B-17 here with lights, and this Thunderbirds, which is very strategically and well made with the smoke in the middle. Wakefield up next with the deep moon background. A couple of F-14s on here, the X-32, the Boeing competitor to the X-35 at the front there as well. But what really caught me was these gnats. I love these so much. Really cool. Love the smoke out the back, and this harbour tugboat is just really unusual. Really well made too. Don't know how to say this. SESKU and Hemsworth. I met one of you because you wanted a picture with me, so that was really cool. Don't have that happen too much, so yeah, it was really cool to have happen. Again, another really massive stand. I think you guys were in the same place last year. I think most of these clubs were in the same places as last year, actually, if I remember right. A really beautifully vibrant and varied display here. I think this was the Christmas Games Workshop model, like last year maybe. Marvin the Paranoid Android from the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy movie, not the TV show. There's Hind, tiger colours. Again with this, the movement on the water is spectacular. Sheffield here with New Zealand transport sort of delegation there, I guess. Really love the C-130 and the old school transport colours. I think it just looks absolutely sublime. U2 there as well. Really interesting sort of set. I wouldn't have thought a lot of these were very popular subjects, particularly the New Zealand lot. Outside of New Zealand, of course. Again, just look at that. It's stunning in the old livery. Very similar to RAF, of course, just with sort of New Zealand Kiwi in the middle. And this Sunderland with sort of the takeoff propellers replacing the standard ones in the kit. And this KI-43 in Manchukuo Air Force colours. We've then got Modeler Dragok, the Red Dragons, or Red Dragon Modelers. Really cool display stand again. The Gundam you saw next to the house, giving a sense of scale and the ginormousness of those aircraft. No, not aircraft, of the mechs in Gundam. These sort of goblins or orcs in a metal band. Thought that was really amusing. I love this setup. Very simple but very effective. Looks like micro diorama. This B-wing, I think, in Czech colours. Here's the band I was mentioning a moment ago. I think that's just really unusual. Really like it. And the Gundam here, I think this is probably one of the best dioramas in the show. The RAF Cadets display. A lot of them just sort of sat at the side making models, which I think is really cool. Really nice to see. Love the Made in Leyland here. Lightning, Tornado. But yeah, I love this one. Again, a really simple but effective diorama. Some sort of bomber command sort of thing here as well, with the Lancaster. And then we go over to friends of the channel. Hi guys, because I know you'll see this. SIG 144. Everything in 1144 scale. I can't even say it properly. 1144 scale. They sort of do collections on their displays. You've seen it evolve over the last couple of years if you've been watching the channel, but they do collections really now. So like different sections of the table will be dedicated to different things, and I absolutely love this. And I think these are one of the friendliest stands you can go to as well. They will talk to you about anything and everything. They're happy to answer any questions, and they really represent a lot of what the modelling community is about, which is embracing everyone, regardless of who you are, what you like, what you do, about everything. I mean, this is just a Christmas diorama. It's absolutely stunning. Like, I don't get how you do things these smalls. Like, how do you do this? I am convinced you're all magicians, because you have to have some sort of magic to be able to do things these small. But I did get some glasses. I do have still got a 144 scale kit to do, so I will do these at one point, I promise you guys. I love these on the horses, they're so cute, and the pigs. Fuga Magis there, how can I not take a picture? You know me, I love the Fuga. I think this is like a made up aircraft, right? Because I see it says Scruggs there, and then this says it's Scruggs Ventura SE-12, like a spacecraft. I think they're made up, they all look absolutely amazing. Got the Mirage family here as well, in a circle together. This Comet, which I actually managed to get in focus this time, looks amazing, just sort of rocketing literally to the skies. U-20 here as well, the water effects look phenomenal. Japanese sort of mini sub. Stuka with folded wings in 144 scale. Honeys, how are you doing this? And an XB-70 with an F5 escorting it through takeoff. The weather research, the meteorological research, C-130, and then this village store with people outside chilling. It's just amazing. I don't know how you guys do it every year in your stand. I just love it. After calming down a little bit, we've got North Riding. And a really good balanced mix of aircraft and armour, and I love the AS-42, this Italian, well, armoured, I wouldn't even say armoured car, it's not armoured. And then this Bedford tanker, I love the colours in this, it's really, really cute. Over to the Harrier SIG again, bit of a mix on here, not just Harriers anymore. Got a couple of sort of, I'm assuming they're the Kobe kits, the sort of the Lego that's not Lego and it's not like the Airfix quick builds. A couple of them on there. There's a Hawk and an F-35. The F-35 we will see closer here. I'm assuming this is sort of the Kobe kits. And then we've also got the P1127 Kestrel. Really lovely, well-made model. The Club with No Name are up next. Obviously they do have a name, it's the Club with No Name. A couple of fire engines at the front. Really, again, an unusual thing to see at shows. Love that, because I love seeing things different. One of the few bits of rail on here, the LEV1, the Pacer, and a couple of airport sort of, or Air Force vehicles, I guess you would say. Stansted Airport Fire service here. It's a really beautifully done model, by the way. And I think this is Laurel and Hardy, my partner said. Either way, it still looks spectacular. Washington, with a mix of fantasy, sci-fi, and some real life stuff. One of the most vibrant and varied displays in the entire show. Bit grisly with the warning for please do not touch, but hey, gotta warn people somehow. And a cute little French tank at the front as well. Smoke effects on here again, absolutely amazing. Love that we're seeing these sort of things coming into modelling. HMS Resolution, our class battleship here as well. It's phenomenal. Another fire engine. Seems to be a little bit of a trend this year. Y-Wing, I love how the engines look at the front. Just, yeah, the weathering on this is amazing. As I said, little cute French boy. Ugh, really cute. Coventry and Warwickshire up next. Again, a club that I've seen many, many times, who've seen some of these things before. Some things will be new. Notice the Lost in Space in the middle, which had light and sound. They put this on, and you can see them pressing it there. And this just looks amazing. Lost in Space Me is something I know from sort of like the film in like 2000s. But yeah, this is amazing. F4 here being repaired, taken apart. I think we've seen this before, but it still looks great. And this ambulance, sort of diorama, sort of aft attention, and this is anti-mining, isn't it, for the Wellington. Northern England airfields, they remembered me because of my long nails. I think that's how a lot of people recognise me. Bolton full defiant at the front, Lancaster in the middle. There's a Tucano. See them saying hi to me there. Basset Beagle. Vampire. Really varied display. I love this so much. And they're very friendly, as I said. Lancaster has the Lynx with its tiger tail. I think that's phenomenal. I love it so much. And then the airfield control tower. Really basic kit, but looks amazing. And this Tucano, stunning amount of work on this. And that's followed by what has recently been released as a vintage classic by Airfix, the Bloodhound. Nomads Model Club here. A lot of wargaming on this, which I really like, especially seeing as I'm starting to get into wargaming, which may or may not be a hint for the direction the channel's going to take a little bit this year. Still going to do a lot of models, but there are going to be some wargaming things on here now as well, because I want to diversify and I don't want to limit myself. But yeah, I love this stand. Some bolt action here, the Home Guard. Beautiful display, I love this so much, very comical. And then 40k here, that reminds me very much of Dune as well. This bedazzled Globemaster. Master Chief, this was all painted, the lighting effect is stunning. You did an amazing job on that. This just sort of abandoned vehicle looks stunning. And this guy being chased with dogs, but there's another dog the other side of the fence, which they said is their dog, turning 1 year old. And it was one of their birthdays, so happy birthday to you as well. I know I said it to you in person, but I figured I'd say it here too. And then IBMS Tyneside up next. And Eldari, or Eldar, as I know them from back in the day. Titan right in the middle. Is it the Reaver? I can never remember. Yeah, Eldar Titan in the middle. Love the radar dish at the back. Wish I'd taken a picture of that. For some reason I didn't. Look at that though. Amazing. Really well based. It's hard to base them. And this gives me like major sort of lonely, solemn vibes. But now we're on to IPMS Tyneside. Beautiful stand. A lot of Star Wars on here again. F104, Hampton and Sunderland all in cutaways, which I think is amazing. There's the engine you saw right at the start of the video here. There's something on here that I actually nearly bought the other day. So here's the cutaway Sunderland and the cutaway Hampton. They're the ones I really wanted to be in the video, so I took both of them. Panther crossing a bridge, destroyed bridge. And then the Apocalypse tank. This is from Command & Conquer Red Alert 2. And I think this is absolutely stunning. And then a ferry battle that's sort of crashed into German territory. There's the steam engine. Look at that. Absolutely amazing. How beautiful done. This is Khan. Everything on here is basically like a movie set. The smash windows on there are phenomenal. I don't know how they transport these, to be quite honest. I can barely transport like a 1/72 scale plane without it breaking, let alone something as fiddly and like precise as this. It's amazing. Every year they do it somehow. So I didn't really take pictures of this. I just sort of did, I guess, these little shorts, sort of showing you them because they're just phenomenal. I don't know how you do it. These are amazing. Your work is spectacular, my friend. Like, it's just so realistic. It literally is like a movie set. South Lakes Sci-Fi and Fantasy are finishing us off for the clubs and SIGs. Obviously, this is sci-fi heavy. A lot of Battlestar Galactica on here. I think that's like a TIE tank is what I called it. It's definitely a TIE fighter front anyway. Just look at that. I'm assuming this is maybe like a real thing, I'm not sure, or it's just a kit bash, it looks amazing. Cyberman, somehow they've got the foil costume done perfectly. And then we've got a little Viper here as well. 3D Gizmo is a creator that I've sort of talked to on a stream, so I thought I had to mention them here. And Fox Hot Models, someone literally said, hey, include these in your video, they do really interesting and unique subjects, so they're in here. Go check out 3D Gizmo and Fox Hot Models. Want to mention a lot of traders we had here, like we had Book World, we had Models for Sales, we had Kit Crazy, MJR Models. We had so many vendors here. You need to go to shows and really see the scale of these because they're absolutely amazing. Yeah guys, that's my first video, like first model show, sorry, of the year, and I'm so happy considering the absolute mess of like what happened to me last year. I'm so happy to be back at a model show. I did buy a couple of things. Maybe I'll do a short with my haul in it next week because I am taking my time and making sure that I do content that I think is really great for you guys, and I can't wait for you to see what I've got planned this year because there's so many different things compared to what I've done last year. I've alluded to some of that already, but yeah, I've also had a lot of you come up to me in the show and say, where have you been? And I just wanted to say it's been amazing. I've had a little cry on the way home, or well, when I got home, because it's just really nice to have so many of you care and notice my absence and notice me come back and be like happy that I'm in so much of a better place. So with that, I want to say thank you so much, guys. It really means the world to me. As usual, a big shout out goes to my channel members for supporting the channel. Advanced Kit members get a shout out too. So hello to Genevieve Albridge, Red Herc 64, Raymond Smith, Cram Phillips, David Barbour, Aaronville, Phil, Gavin Blackburn, Tim Borland, Hobby Time, Kevin Norfield, Waddle 2 Scale Models Dave, Taggers 365, Jeff's Dioramas, Iron Duke, and the two longest supporters of the channel, Explosive Water and Crazy Loacher. Thank you to all of you. I couldn't do this without you. Like what you've seen here today? Make sure to subscribe to the channel to be kept up to date with the new long form videos and also some shorts that I'll upload occasionally. And there's a video here that's recommended by YouTube just for you, so why don't you go check it out?